Maybe he's done something great that he didn't brag about. It's that.
I don't believe that it's a cult. I believe that there's definitely cult-like stuff about it.
Unapologetic about it. It's Israel, Israel, Israel.
It's to enter phase 2, you'd have to at least have phase 1 done. That's just common sense.
Does he know how to work in a car? Does he know how to roof? You know what I mean? Like,
his death definitely was a catalyst. I think we said that before, but like...
Yeah, if you have any input, especially anything positive, leave it below. I'd love to hear. So I've got a visual representation of the places that Donald Trump's policies and ideas are destroying. It's that.
It's our inflatable globe toy.
Oh no, I guess we've gone woke right.
Oh no.
Maybe we're just left now. Left behind like most normal people.
We're the No Child Left Behind Act. We're left all the children.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, look down a little bit.
I am.
Speak with conviction. This is the guy you hate.
Oh, Jesus.
No, we have conversations about political things and how things affect society, especially for just everyday middle class people. And yeah, Trump's been on the receiving end of a lot of the negativity.
It has been
for us.
Probably the most intense. How long has it been since Charlie Kirk died? September.
So yeah, 4 months.
Okay, so 4 months. His death definitely was a catalyst. I think we said that before, but like it's really, really apparent now. It was a catalyst to everybody kind of taking like the wool off their eyes, so to speak.
Yeah.
And now we're at a point lately where it's just boiled over.
Shout out to some of my friends out there who know what this means. The noticing is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
It used to only apply to some of us, basically involving history, and but now it's everywhere. People are, you're right, since Charlie Kirk, for whatever reason, they're not buying it this time.
Yep.
Like Barron said on Candace, it was like, you know, even with 9/11, it was like, okay, yeah, sure, that's how buildings fall.
Right.
You know, that's what happens when a plane hits. So don't ask any questions. Let's just go to war, kill tens of thousands of our own people while we do it, and, you know, mass slaughter a bunch of people who don't deserve it.
Well, yeah, it's just like Dave Smith says on his stuff all the time about how, you know, we are weapons of mass destruction babies.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
We are. That's my generation for sure. Your generation too, a little
bit.
Yeah,
no, it's definitely mine.
Older, but,
but my people
but
like
still,
were literally going
to war.
Yeah, I was pretty much ready to get in line and do it myself, but I did actually feel like something was screwy. And I'll say this, it's like now, just compare that. Here you have one guy who half the political spectrum despised for the ones that knew him. But this one was like, no, not this time. We're not buying it this time. And it's because it's the same story. It's a guy who was very beloved to a lot of people.
Yeah.
It was a guy that even if he said some things that incensed some people, like he wasn't a bad guy. You know what I mean? Like he had a certain naivete about him. And now we're finding out he really did, not just in how he spoke and the way he looked at the world, but around the immediate world around him.
Yeah.
And it was just broad daylight, broadcast, right in your face, all the weirdness.
Yeah.
It almost feels like it was a test, kind of like I say some of COVID was. It was a test to see, okay, are they still going to go with the BS?
Right. Yeah.
You know, and
are
it's
they
like
fall in line or are they not?
I've never seen such a percentage of people who are actually the ones that are actually paying attention to what's going on in the world, and the ones that align with him politically, that align with Charlie. I've never seen such a high percentage of people say, no, we're not buying this one. We're not taking. Now, if somebody knows one that's a little more extreme, leave it in the comments. Maybe there is something where everybody said enough. But I watched during the pandemic, 205, I watched everyone fall in line, basically.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah, everybody.
And so with this, it's
a very select few.
Yeah, and it's just one guy. And so anyways, a lot of this stuff with really paying attention to the politics that are coming out of this administration.
Yeah.
People are seeing a lot of it for what it is. They're looking the next step beyond. It's almost like the Wizard of Oz.
I mean, it is. It's the man behind the veil, you know? I mean, it's been, I guess it heartbreaking in some ways. It's been a big letdown.
Oh yeah.
And it has definitely, and I still struggle with it some days. It's embarrassing to say that, but some days I'll wake up and just think about everything that was promised to us. And like this time, last year, 2 years ago,
it was exciting.
We were fighting for something.
And people who never fought together were fighting together.
Yeah.
And I have an opinion on why that was.
It felt great though. We had Tulsi Gabbard coming, and it's like, oh my gosh, well, she was Democrat.
Oh yeah, it was shared values
then
with these
RFK
people.
coming, and the day that they shook hands on stage and everything, it was like the big deal when he brought him on.
Oh yeah.
That was my birthday. I remember sitting there and watching that on TV and being like, what a great birthday present. Like I was damn near in tears. I mean, it's just.
You had ex-podcast star Dan Bongino.
Oh, man.
Secret Serviceman,
Yeah. I mean, and he was my favorite. He was a lot of people's favorites. It's just, we had
Elon coming aboard.
Yeah.
And I also have a take on some of this stuff. You had all the top tech guys there on the day that he was inaugurated. There's all this coming together.
It was hope. We had hope, and we had like a reason.
Hope and change?
Yeah, we had a reason to be fighting for something, and it's like, okay, when we got that win and he, won the presidency, it was like, all right, here we go, let's do it. And we knew realistically that, okay, it wasn't going to happen overnight,
right? That
things do take time or whatever. So you try to give, grace in that aspect. And then it's like, okay, there's things that pop up, and you're like, what? I don't.
And that's the thing. Usually it's kind of like you give time because things have to kind of reveal themselves and there's long-term plans in place. But in this instance, it's been a lot of instant things, actions. It's been high speed, a lot of things happening. And honestly, there's not many positive ways to look at some of them.
It was supposed to be
you can't spin it.
Yeah, it was supposed to be high speed things happening of things that were promised to us in the campaign trail. Like, it was supposed to be, we're going to end the Russia-Ukraine.
Oh, we're going to get to those.
We're going to end that war, day one. And we're going to, deport everybody, blah, blah, which, okay, they are doing that. They closed the border.
Closed the border, but there's certain things with all that.
There's problems going on with that now, yeah. And then, what was the other thing?
Oh, I mean, there's obviously the Zio thing.
Oh, well, yeah.
And that war.
And the Epstein files, we're going to release those.
God, yeah.
We're going to attack the deep state, blah, blah. We're like, okay, we're going to do this quick. He said it's going to happen quickly. So many times in his speeches. It will happen quickly, is what he would say.
And it was creating jobs. It was, it definitely wasn't bringing in skilled tradespeople from China, his supposed adversary. It wasn't bringing them in to take jobs that he said we couldn't do.
Yeah, that we're not qualified.
That was a moment that I think some of us just said, you know what, dude? All right.
Well, and I'll tell you before we get right into the nitty gritty here, my moment, and I think a lot of people, if you have a particular moment and you see this, throw it in the comments.
Yeah, a moment when either you feel like MAGA died or you were just out. You were just like, you know what? Nah.
So the moment that it had been already building up for months, and then the moment that I was just like, okay, enough. This is it. Enough. Was when Trump first said that he wanted Bibi Netanyahu pardoned for war crimes.
Yeah, that was, I was a little bit ahead. Like, not ahead, but I mean, I was just a little bit sooner than that. I had kind of seen enough things where I'm just like, this isn't just affecting things immediately in the next couple of years. This is part of a plot, a plan that I'm very knowledgeable about that is a long-term, it's something you'll never get away from.
Yeah.
So once it's put into place properly, which it's been a lot of, I got to take on why that's even happening.
Just the night that he said that, I went outside and I took my Trump sign down and I ripped it.
Yeah, she did. She actually took it down.
I ripped it in half, and I'm done.
I was holding on to the representation of a dream.
Yep.
In other words, I was already, I would say, out on what he was doing, but I left it out there the way that you leave an American flag, even after America as a government or country does something terrible.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, I still have that dream. I still support a lot of the people involved, which I don't in the administration, but I support the people who are happy and excited for the same reasons we were.
A lot of the patriots that were like, all right, like we're going to come together and, see changes.
Mine was just the foreign aid to Israel, increased aid.
Yeah.
Obviously, being part of funding a genocide. And I know I'm not supposed to say that word because the English language is only half allowed.
That is the biggest, I don't want to say it's the biggest problem, or whatever that we have, because it's not, obviously, that we have our American problems majorly.
No, it plays in all
For
of them.
me personally, the Gaza thing is the biggest thing
obviously.
for me that just...
That's all. Yeah, I'm with you, but then in a humanitarian way. But I was there financially, economically. It was no more funding foreign wars.
Yeah,
that thing.
No more wars. Period.
And when it totally, well, I'll get into a couple numbers. I think will actually surprise people. I really do. Coming into the Trump era.
Yeah,
I think most people voting age, and then their kids and their younger siblings were of the mindset of, it doesn't matter if I vote or not.
Right.
Most people, not most, but a lot of people who spent any time online had seen kind of the claims and even possibly a bit of proof that presidents are kind of predetermined, or they're going to be put into place to carry out things that have nothing to do with what they personally want or any of that. So anyways, I feel like it just kind of clicked to me because I was asking myself, like, Trump, our hope in him was, yes, okay, we came out of and into the era of who you vote for doesn't really matter. They're going to play the same role anyway. That doesn't matter, except maybe with foreign relations, maybe as a motivating figure or something, a figurehead, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what a lot of us thought. So with Trump, there was kind of a hope that even though that's true, we were admitting that was true since day one.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't buy all the crap that people in the deep state and the media were saying, like it was such a surprise that he was able to win.
Yeah.
I was surprised he was able to win, but I was not surprised that he got the nomination. I wasn't surprised that he was getting so close at one point. So anyways, the hope was, even though he's to stick to a script, and he was allowed to have the position that he had, that he was so arrogant, narcissistic, stubborn, that he was just going to do what he wanted anyway.
Yeah.
He was going to fulfill his campaign promises just for the purpose of looking great.
Yeah. Being able to say, look what I did. I promised you this. I got it for you. There you go.
And he started to show that, especially the second time around. But my thing is that I think that when they're allowing someone to get that close to power, I think that they have to fit a particular role. So I think there's a handful of roles that people can play when they're in office, almost like an archetype. But every guy's going to have their thing. So when it comes time, they're going to bring in an environmental guy.
Yeah.
Or they're going to bring in a social justice guy.
Yeah.
They have to be able to play that role well. So it's like, okay, yeah. We'll work on some of that stuff you want to do, all of that. But what we really need you to do is always keep in the back of your mind that you're going to play that role if it comes up that you need to play that role.
Right.
Trump was the Zionist guy all along.
Yeah.
He was King Zion, as I call him every day. He was the Zionist guy. Look at his mentor. Look at essentially his friendships, now his family. Look at how he performed the ritual at the grave of the Rebbe. Like, just look at all that.
His new best friend, who they look longing and lovingly at each other.
Oh yeah,
matching suits.
Now his first campaign, it's hard to tell exactly why they allow certain things at certain times because obviously this has long-term implications. But I think that it gave us the illusion of choice.
It did.
Because so many people were just apathetic towards the government and just towards politics in general at that point.
Mm-hmm.
The people that were most important, the people that they needed to get out there and vote. Because I was saying yesterday that I think it's not so much the people that are kind of moderate in the middle that you want to swing. It's more the people who have a passing interest.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of they really don't care, and then they're kind of told that, hey, this is the most important election for this reason and this reason.
Yeah.
So they pick the common sense pick.
Exactly.
And, in this case, it was basically like, come on, dude, you have to vote because these people want to hack up kids.
Right.
Like, these people want to let another 50 million people in here. So it's like, all right, I've got a passing interest in this. They get suckered in because they have to do it. And then by the time that given camp, or, that 4 years is over, they're basically done with voting all over again.
Yeah.
They're like, damn it, I knew it. But then there's the next group. Could be the youth, could be middle age. It just depends on, people always think, oh, it's the youth. They need some new suckers.
It's timing.
It's just timing. But I think that, the first time it gave an illusion of choice, and it tried to create proud patriots.
Yes, it did.
They were trying to get people back into the military.
Yep.
They were trying to bring masculinity back to some degree, to where people had pride in themselves and in their country, and they wanted to fight, and they wanted to be able to use that. You need that.
Absolutely, man. The amount of pro-America shirts that we own that are in his wardrobe are just...
Yeah, you almost couldn't avoid it. It was like, I'm going to go buy a shirt, and instead of sports teams all in front of you, is different American stuff.
And I love that. And, I felt proud rocking it.
Even though I always feel like it's a grand deception. It's kind of like if everybody's deceived and they're on the same team, is it a deception?
Right.
Not really. So not in action anyway.
Hive mind.
Right. I was okay with the hive mind. Now what would have been his second term, I feel that it was stolen with the purpose of going way too far left.
Yeah.
Just way too far left. Come on. Do you guys really think, excuse me, that if they wanted to win the presidency, that they would have went so far? I mean, these people, literally, the ones who are kind of in control of campaigns and everything, and I don't even mean the faces of it that they get fired all the time because they suck. I'm talking about the data people, the people who are looking at different polls, and I'm talking opinion polls, like on the actual kind of social politics of the country. So they're looking at that. Do you really think that the left thought that they should go further left than pretty much any administration in the history of the world that they would win?
Elected, right?
Come on.
This doesn't.
No, it makes zero sense.
And if you notice, now obviously we have a whole list of our own problems now, but now you don't see hardly any of that was going on then.
No,
it
just vanished.
Stuff, it's just kind of...
It vanished.
It's there lurking in the background very quietly. Once in a while something will pop out, but it's not...
Yeah. The first time around was we're going to kind of prove that not an everyday guy, he played that role, but somebody who's not in the political realm, technically, can get into office. It's going to kind of strike back at this crap that's been going on and everything. Oh, it's a businessman. We had just come out of a really bad recession not that long before this.
The lawfare he dealt with.
Yeah, all of that stuff kind of made him not like an anti-hero, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and then the assassination attempt.
Oh, yeah. So different episode. So, the first time around, and before then, obviously, kind of, like I said, gave you the illusion of choice. It created proud patriots. It got people involved again who weren't involved. It got people back into the military. It started kind of treating, I guess you could say, manliness and things as being important.
More respect for police officers, that type of thing.
Yeah. And then the second time that I do feel was stolen from him, like I said, it was done to go too far left.
Yep.
We're going to swing all the way over there because damn well that when it went that far, when people were that enraged that so many people are now homeschooling, so many people are checking out of the whole system, you knew damn well that after
they needed a savior.
They needed a savior. So yes, obviously that was done on purpose to swing that way too far. Now the momentum swinging back sounds like it would be great, right? Like it would send a lot of people to the more conservative side of things, but no, it sent them to Zionist, neocon ideas. But this is his role. He's always been King Zion.
Unfortunately, yes.
You know, like the people in that community are saying, their leaders are saying, he is the most pro-Israel president in American history.
He's the first president or person, period, that's going to get the Israel award that isn't Israeli.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the Israel award is, but apparently it's some big deal to them, so whatever.
I don't think it is really that big of a deal, but they're making it a big deal
because they're giving it to him.
Yeah, they're going to lick his boot one time because he's done it 1,000 times. You know what? There was a moment for me. God, it was early on, too. It was when he pulled out Bibi's chair.
Oh.
Something in me was just like, no. And then he held his phone for him. I don't think that was even the same visit, but he held his phone for him. And it's like they showed some vitriol and stuff when they brought Zelensky to the White House and
That was
J.D.
awesome.
Vance went
Honestly,
off on him.
I loved that. That was great, but it was like, okay.
A little scripted, a little reality TV, but that's what you get.
Now what, Jerry Springer?
But yeah, but I will say this. You mentioned, I think it was a headline today, that Trump thinks that he's going to go to heaven for...
No, he said that I think that God would be very proud of the things that I've done, or something along those lines.
The reason that's interesting is because I believe it was just before Charlie Kirk passed, Trump was about to get off a plane, and they asked him something about God and if he believed he was going to go to heaven. And he said no.
Yeah.
But he did or acted in some way that kind of honored the people that are religious. And I believe he was referring to the chosen people.
I'm sure.
But yeah, see, the thing is he's dabbled back and forth where he did actually do the ritual I talked about earlier. That's why we need a damn producer, because I could have him splice everything in here. He did essentially become a Lubavitcher. Like he, put the tiny hat on, he did a ceremony and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, they all kissed the wall, but he went further, and his daughter converted.
Yeah.
Now they're a Jewish family. And even though he said he's not religious, he believes in God and all that kind of stuff, I do believe that he's now been convinced that it is the end of days, and he needs to be the leader who brings on helps to bring on the third temple prophecy from afar.
Yeah.
Yep. I believe that he thinks that, or at least if shit does hit the fan, of course, that we're going to kind of be on top of the rubble at the end of it, but that he will go down in history as somebody who fought for God, not just country, who fought for the people of God. That he made it possible for them to be their own entity. I do believe that he has some actual theology in this now. Just recently, it was gradual, and it was kind of like, okay. But then, boom, lately I feel like he's really... And yes, of course, we talked about like Professor Jang explaining how that country, that region, is more about business and the future of tech, all these things, different trade routes and all of that, the canal. Like every major power has a vested interest in that place that outweighs any kind of outside respect they have for a people with a foreign religion, a people with a whole situation they don't really understand.
Right.
In other words, that's why China doesn't weigh in, Russia doesn't weigh in. They'll say a little something, but they don't do anything.
They'll be quiet when the UN or whatever, that whole big voting thing for Palestine. They were the only two that didn't vote in favor of Trump's peace plan.
Yeah.
But they didn't vote against it either. They just stood mute.
Right.
And I was like, okay, that makes a statement, but...
There is a plan, not just for development there, but like I said, it has to do with trade. It has to do with the global economy.
Yeah.
Everybody has a vested interest in it. So even when you and I say things like, man, how can they let that thing happen? Or how can they allow these people to have this supremacist view and America cater to that? Shouldn't they say something? And it's like, No, they have their reasons why they're not saying anything. So anyway, I think he's here to go down in history. And I do believe that these rabbis are changing their theology. They're creating essentially Kabbalah, Talmud influenced edits.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. People have to understand that when you study these rabbis and how they become big, well-known, respected, powerful rabbis, there's a lot of creativity involved.
Yeah.
There's a different level of gematria and interpretation and things like that, to where they see something in a way that's new and refreshing, and it advances them to having the kind of understanding to where, like I've talked about before in the Zionist episode, where they can actually kind of harness the power of God and actually be more powerful than him, because they're all simultaneously harnessing that spark.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a lot of weird language, I know, but the point is I believe that these rabbis that are getting around him and encouraging him are changing theology. They're saying, wait a minute, we're seeing in here in the Torah, this book and this book helped us to interpret this, and we think that you are vital in this situation. And if you notice, I said earlier that when he used to do something or have to admit something that kind of let the American people down, you could tell that he didn't like what he was having to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Or if it was a decision that he didn't agree with, you could tell he had to do. Now, there is no hesitation in thinking of whether or not it affects you negatively.
No,
and if you say it does, he goes off.
Well, he goes off, whether you're a reporter or whatever. I mean, and he laughs. Like, he gets
There's a cockiness there.
A little snicker, like, all right, well, I got to get going. My coffee's getting cold.
Right.
It's like,
my place in heaven's being created.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on the third level of heaven. Like, I truly believe that he's been given... I mean, think about it. You're talking about one of the most egotistical guys in the history of the world. Now you're telling him that he's essentially responsible for like getting the chosen people back to God and God back to the chosen people, and the end of days, and just peace for all of these people. And
if that don't blow someone's ego up, I don't know what. I mean, and he also is convinced that he is responsible for ending, I don't know how many wars he said it was, 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm probably wrong about the number, but either way, the number doesn't exist, because none of that is accurate at all. And he has not ended the war or whatever, the genocide. He's not ended that. Actually, he hasn't done anything for that whatsoever.
None of the war-related things.
Yeah.
All of the things.
They're about to enter phase 2 of that 20-point peace plan, and I'll get more into that later. But to enter phase 2, you'd have to at least have phase 1 done. That's just common sense. Phase 1, they've had a ceasefire going for, I don't know, months and months, and
nobody's ceased any
fire. The killing has not stopped. So,
and that's the thing. That's where America looks weak, even though they're just an extension of us. I mean, let's be real, they are. But that's where America looks weak, because even if you don't care about the Palestinian people, even if you don't want this thing to end long term, whatever, you have to have people abide by the peace agreement that your leader put in place.
I mean, can we follow the Geneva Convention a little bit?
But the problem is that, well, this is a positive thing. Okay, that thing I was talking about, the roles and how it's kind of predetermined, and it goes from one extreme to another, give you this illusion of choice, and cater to the flavor of the month or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that they have someone to come after him. I think that we, like you said about the Charlie Kirk thing, I think that people are researching enough, they're paying attention enough, they're studying enough, their eyes are open to where you're not going to slide another one past us. You're not going to put that guy in there that was made for the role. He probably was out there, and I think they've pulled him back because they're like, whoa, people aren't going to fall for our pre-planned thing this time.
Yeah.
So who's next? Maybe it is the end of the world.
Charlie could have been a candidate too.
Yeah, for sure.
They were not having that. So.
And it actually, politically, that could have been a disaster to people because
Yeah,
he would have had completely opposing views.
to what he was supposed
So
to
now
be,
you
the
have-
party he was supposed
Yeah,
to
the party's going to have completely opposing views as to who they're allied with in a situation or whatever.
Yeah, that
So,
would have been nuts.
I mean, that is crazy. But the thing is I feel like people are seeing more, they're investigating more. And I think that, you got to admit that, okay, there are the slappies, there are the people that support Trump no matter what,
Yeah,
that are just proving that what the left said about MAGA being a cult
right.
may be true.
I mean, okay, so being a part of MAGA, as we were proudly representing for a while, I don't believe that it's a cult. I believe that there's definitely cult-like stuff about it, but I don't believe it's a cult completely because a lot of us left. We
No,
we
you can
left.
leave a cult.
Well, not always,
It's still
like
a big
that.
cult. It's
But
still a
I
big
mean,
group.
it is cult-ish for sure.
So you're saying
For sure.
it's kind of like when we were covering the Blooming cult. It's kind of is trying to be a cult.
Yeah, it's like a diet.
It didn't
cult,
quite make it.
Like Diet Cola. It's like
was,
cult light.
Yeah, cult light.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and that's kind of what you want to create in these situations where you're bringing a candidate in that's not expected. I mean, that's what you're trying to build.
People willing to die for your president, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, just point by point, like you said, the Israel-Palestine thing. People forget that Trump said that he was essentially going to make a two-state solution. Like he was going to make peace there by strength.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, even if he wasn't just talking about that in particular, he said he was going to basically stop funding foreign wars.
Right.
Okay, so he hasn't done that. For people who don't know this, as far as Russia-Ukraine goes, Biden, I guess, broke a record in foreign aid to a country at war, maybe in general, with I think it's $21 billion.
Yeah, something like that.
Trump gave 119.
Yeah.
In 2025, he's right there. So
huge thing of like no more money to Ukraine. We can't do it. We can't do it. We can't do it.
Oh,
America
it was Crooked
first.
Joe was over there laundering money, and that's why we're siding with them, and this, that, and the other. And we're going to act tough towards him at the White House, and it's like, okay,
and
what's happening?
Now what? Yeah,
And then there's a whole thing with like, okay, the economy. Americans are talented. All of these things.
Need more jobs brought here for us.
Yeah, we need to get all these people out of here that are taking good jobs and stuff. And so he's like, well, you know what? I'm getting X amount of people out of the country that are illegal, which, great. They were doing a lot of that, but mathematically, it's nowhere near what people would think it is.
No.
But, okay, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to bring in 600,000 Chinese people to take jobs that Americans don't have the skill to do.
Yeah.
I mean, he like literally said it that way.
He said that in an interview. I mean, and it was just like one of those jaw hit the floor moments.
Do you think
really?
Trump can change a light bulb? Do you think he knows how to, I don't know, edit a photo? Or does he know how to use just about any program on a computer that most of us use every day? Does he know how to work on a car? Like, does he know how to roof? You know what I mean? Like,
no.
Okay, he knows how to be an executive, but in all honesty, does he really? He's doing a bad job now, okay? And he did a bad job a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I never said this guy was a genius businessman. I said that he looked at things from a business perspective and that the system desperately needed that worked into it. Which was, in my opinion, I'm starting to feel like it was idiotic, but maybe I just wanted Ross Perot.
Businessman, not a good businessman.
Right. I mean, in some cases, he did okay, and he did know how to negotiate with people to some degree.
Yeah, so we thought. I mean, I don't know what happened to that. It just died.
No. And so, I mean, as far as the economy goes, we said that obviously in such a short amount of time, you're not going to see some drastic changes.
Yeah, it would take a little while. We aren't stupid people. We knew it wasn't going to be like, boom, okay, everything's better. We can afford stuff and this and that. I knew we would have to suffer a little while before it got better.
But see, there's a problem.
But
he led us to believe that, as just about any economist in that situation would tell you, there would be a long period of actual suffering, and then things would turn around.
Right.
It's really been more of the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
But low key, shipping and stuff like that is up drastically, not just because of tariffs. It's worked in your wholesale price of everything.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. But also, there are a lot of non-citizens that were truck drivers for a lot of these freight companies.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They're gone now.
Tons.
And people need to be paid their fair American wage.
Yeah. And companies can't afford it.
No. And so, I mean, the economy really hasn't gotten better. Okay, you could say that objectively it's gotten a couple percentage points better.
Yeah, I just don't want to even hear that couple percentage points shit anymore, because you know what? It's like, okay, a couple percentage points better. Woohoo. Well, those couple percentage points are not affecting any of my people that I know, or anyone like in this community I'm in, or anything. When we go to the grocery store and spend, $160 on barely any food.
Yeah, and like she knows now certain little intricacies of like managing a small business, where you're not just paying the price of the goods, you're paying for somebody's pay to be there. You're paying a franchise percentage. You're paying, obviously taxes. You're putting this much back towards your escrow.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of it all, if you have shipping involved, you're keeping 20%.
Yeah,
and then you're getting taxed on all that. It's just, so in other words, like, you start seeing that, wait a minute, okay, this on the surface might look a little better, but anybody who's truly in the economic...
I mean, come on, people. Just be real with it, okay?
Yeah.
Our economy is tanking. It's terrible. It's bad. We are experiencing financial hardships across, the United States, I think worse than we have in a while. I don't know the statistic on that currently, but I know that it is bad. I know it's bad. And if you're sitting here watching this, you guys can relate, because you live in the same communities that we live in,
Mm-hmm.
and you live the same type of lives that we live. It's really, really, really difficult to survive.
Yeah, and it's
very,
odd.
Very hard.
I was looking at the details of it before we did this, and it's like, really the only thing that's up is consumer spending. And that is because wealthy people are out buying more than they were before. And I can stand by that.
Yeah.
As a sales manager, store manager, it's true. Like, my average sale is way up. My clientele is, they're a little more into the higher end product. But my everyday people, it's tough. It's really tough. And I'm going to tell you this, like, year over year, at least in the business I'm in, 2024 was better. Now, I will say that at the end, there was a spike, and at the beginning of Trump's presidency, there was a spike. People who are still holding on, and who will actually argue with you passionately, like, you don't want to see a Fox News comment section. It's so delusional, it's unreal.
It's bad.
It's really bad. It's like, listen, do you really think the economy is that much better? At best, it's incrementally better. It's nothing special better. And I'll say this, as far as all this talk about being like energy independent, people don't realize that in 2024, there were new production records for natural gas, crude oil, natural gas plant liquids, biofuels, solar, and wind, the lowest imports since 1985. So some stuff is perception.
Yeah.
It's just perception. And I'm not saying that person did well, but what I'm saying is there are things that you're not seeing. Like I just said off camera, the tariffs have caused our goods to go up. The actual materials are more expensive. Yes, there are a few more American-made companies popping up. Their prices are higher, which, okay, fine. That part of it I was okay with.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing is going down. The only thing we have, and you can check this against every expert and every record in the world, is the wealthy are spending more money.
Right.
So now my average choice of products for people is much higher, which is great for me. I love it. I have a lot of pride in what I sell and what we have and who we're catering to. But at the same time, I see a lot of people doing the keeping up with the Joneses thing.
Yeah.
And in some cases, they have no choice.
Yeah.
They got to spend somewhere near what that guy's spending. They will literally buy one less piece of a bedroom set because they have to buy the same thing as the guy who has money.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you guys. Like, so anyways, just to sum it up, if the economy's any better, it's not better by much. If the unemployment rate's down, it's because it was at a ridiculous high previously. You know, those sorts of things. I mean, that particular one isn't exactly true. But then you have the no more aid to foreign countries, especially the ones at war.
And that's all we do now.
That's all we do.
It mostly all goes to Israel, though.
And then a lot of people say, and I agree, that the final nail in the MAGA coffin was Epstein.
Yeah, the
That's
handling of that was just
comical.
I mean,
the worst handling of anything I've ever seen.
Bad. And if you go back in our podcast and watch the episode that we did about that, like several months ago, you know, where we were kind of like, okay, you know, when Trump says, you know, are you still talking about that? We were like kind of trying to decipher like what this might mean and what that might mean and why they may be doing this and why they may be saying that. And almost like defending it in a way.
But the lies.
But the oh my
downright
God.
Insulting, like lying in your face. They're here, they're not there. Like everybody's gone over that ad nauseum. But
and that just shows.
That was the end of it.
Yeah, it just shows how hard we really were trying to like, you know, support our administration.
Try to maybe
and
see the things that we can't see.
Yeah,
you know
we
what
were
I mean?
trying really hard. And I look back at that now and I'm just like, damn, Danielle, you knew.
Yeah.
You knew.
Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks to admit that. But you know what's worse is the people who know all this stuff and who are on the right with us, but they won't admit it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It drives me nuts.
Horrible.
I'm like, listen, man, like we are going in the wrong direction on just about everything. And I put a little short out there, but we need to at some point talk about the ICE thing. Because we were big proponents of, yes, do this. I talked about it like on a biblical level.
Absolutely.
Like how it was the right thing to do.
Their job, blah,
and to
blah,
draw
blah.
borders and everything. However, it's being handled by, there's that journalist woman, the woke one, who is able to get a job with the, oh my God, it's such just look it up.
It's turned
look up woke journalist gets job with ICE.
ICE has turned into a whole different monster that it shouldn't be.
Anybody's getting a job with them. They're clearly enjoying what they're doing in the wrong way.
And they're doing some illegal stuff from what I understand.
A lot of it.
As well, so.
And so, I mean, it's really fueling the people who are just angry about the amount of people in the country and stuff that were illegal and them using resources. But there's still a right and wrong way to do things.
Absolutely.
That's all there is to it. And the thing with Venezuela, we were literally dropping bombs on innocent people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or at least under a false pretense. The fentanyl does not come from Venezuela. Any of you boomers out there that think that, read.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I say read
it's not
on this
coming
podcast.
From there. I mean, and let's say, you know, for the sake of laughing here, let's say hypothetically that it was. Somehow Maduro got a hold of this big shipment and he was going to give it out to everyone, whatever. Say if that happened and we found out like, okay, they're sending this stuff to our country, we would go in there and we would freaking take them out and make sure that we showed the bust. Like, showed the drugs, showed the guns.
But it was on a boat that sunk.
It was on a boat that sunk, right.
Come on,
that you exploded. And then some fishermen, I mean, just...
We're going there to take resources.
Docks and this and that. I mean, just...
And there's things that benefit a certain foreign nation, but we're going there to take resources. Point blank, period.
You gotta be the bad guy. You gotta have a bad guy.
Yeah, you do have to have the arch nemesis of freedom.
Muslims with box cutters. Shout out to Tucker Carlson.
And that's the other thing. We're over there starting conflicts essentially with Iran. We're gonna have peace through strength. No, we've crossed lines with that. We've allowed lines to be crossed. We have done nothing, not just against. It's not just against campaign promises. It's just most of it's against common sense. So yeah, it's not just campaign promises that have been broken. It's the way that they've been broken. the in-your-face type of way, the way the Epstein thing was dealt with. And we're to the point where, like I said earlier about it being like a cult, the remaining people are like cult members because, for instance, when, I don't remember her name, Good? Is her name
Oh.
Renee Good?
Yeah, Renee Good.
I think that's her name. With the ICE shooting, there was not a single objective person out of like a couple hundred comments on that story online. There wasn't a single person that said something like, I think that like ICE is completely in the right for what they're doing, but yeah, I got to watch this again. It doesn't look right.
Yeah.
There was a couple like lefties and maybe, there was a couple people who were just against.
Yeah,
probably followed that channel just to talk trash. But
yeah, and they just hate ICE in general.
I'm just saying, it's like not only has he made it to where these people are more emboldened to just say and go along with whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's just, the rest of us, he's looking us in the face and saying, they're with me, so what? What are you going to do?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It makes
you
us
actually
look
thought
like
I'd pass that? It's basically kind of the attitude. Yeah, it's like, you actually thought I was going to do that? Are you kidding me? Like the Epstein.
You elected me, so I mean, you got what you wanted, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, okay, well, did we? I mean, because right after that specific incident happened that you just talked about, the Renee Good thing, I mean, have been in support of ICE and what they've been doing, since the beginning of getting illegal people out of our country.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems to not be what they've been doing lately in a lot of cases. And regardless of how I feel about any political party or what you're doing, what you're not doing, there's a human morals thing that comes into play that I think should take over, for anything that should be above politics.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see that video and you see what happened, okay, and I don't buy that cop had internal bleeding. Sorry, not buying it for a second. As a human being, I think we should stand up for other human beings and say something is wrong.
Well, the worst part, just like looking you in the face, kind of like, did you expect me to, do the Epstein thing, or whatever the case may be, or to stop the aid to other countries, just up and stop it or stop a war? It's like, yeah, we were kind of going along with what you're saying, but with this, he could stand up and say, hey, I don't really condone the way that I've seen some of these guys acting. He doesn't even need to name them specifically.
No.
He doesn't need to name that particular victim.
No.
He could just say, from what I saw is justified. I haven't seen enough yet, but what I will say is that there's a lot of tension out there over this issue, and both sides, hey, there's good and bad on both sides,
Right.
You say that.
There's so many ways to handle it that he could handle it.
And we all know that he is not exactly a person with tact. But when it starts when you're talking about like human lives and stuff, and people are giving you a whole lot of rope, you know what I mean? Like basically putting a lot of stuff aside on your behalf. But like basically that there, I don't even know all the leadership within ICE.
I don't either.
But in terms of like leadership, as far as people we were excited to see come over, or people that, like we were just saying off camera, in the first administration, the excuse for all of the disarray in it and certain mistakes and people doing horrible things essentially in their position was he didn't know these people. He didn't know the system. He didn't know how things were set up. He didn't know the character of people.
Yeah, I got a little one here after school.
And in this case, he does.
Yeah.
He assured us he knows who the swamp is. He knows who the swamp ain't.
He directly appointed people to be in certain positions so that, we could drain that thing.
And sold us on, again, maybe suckers that we bought into it. But, we saw hundreds of hours of Dan Bongino, like, we're going to stop these bad guys. We're going after this whole Epstein thing.
He's like my hero for a little while.
Nobody in the FBI has been locked up over January 6th. Where's that?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. All those things that were promised. And then you look at Kash Patel, and which is one that we loathe. Yeah. And look at how that investigation, Charlie Kirk, is being handled. Ugh. But that doesn't even begin to touch with the issues. Tulsi, like you said earlier, is towing the line now.
That sucks.
That's really sad.
I would see that, and that is really, really awful to see.
Yeah. I mean, there's Bondi, obviously. I was never 100% on her either.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of liked her at the beginning, and then it was like, okay, hold on, calm down. And then it was like, okay, yeah, this lady needs to go.
And just a random thing I just remembered. I'm pretty sure that Trump passed that thing where senior citizens can get a gun no matter what. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if you made it this far in the video. That right there is pretty insane. I'm all about the Second Amendment, but when you start looking at certain parts of that,
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. I don't know the specifics of it, but I do recall that.
I don't have geriatrophobia, but I mean, I'm not exactly a fan of the driver who's 96 years old with the big, thick black glasses
should not
either.
Be behind the wheel.
But like I said earlier, the good thing is that people aren't buying a lot of it.
Yeah.
It bothers me that there's this segment that are so devoted, like cult members, and they're obviously going to turn at the rest of us and be gnashing teeth and whatnot at us because, we're going to lose the midterms or whatever the case may be.
Shout out to Tim Pool with your little beanie.
Yeah, I've been wearing one ever since because of you, buddy.
We rock them better than you do, buddy.
And so, I mean, they're going to lash out at us. They're irritating. They make us look stupid. But at the same time, the people, the majority, are not buying the BS this time around.
Yeah.
It's pretty much on display that is the case. And y'all, meaning the fake conservatives, the neocons, they're losing the narrative. Like when you say the phrase "the lunatic left" now, it's almost as it's almost powerless. Kind of like I keep seeing on my Facebook feed because of political things I talk about. All these like supposed acts of anti-Semitism across the country.
Yeah.
Some of them are like AI generated, you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the other ones are people doing it to themselves so that they evoke a lot of emotion.
Yep.
So that word anti-Semitism means nothing. You call anyone an anti-Semite now. It kind of like Candace Owens.
They have awards for anti-Semite.
Yeah, and I want it so bad. Like, I want it so bad. Y'all already know that.
Yeah, but Cenk, I want it.
Did he win it this time, or was it like Tucker?
I think
Tucker won it. But like, Candace Owens showed that her saying that a genocide anytime to any people is bad, and I think she signed it off, Christ is King. Yeah. Anti-Semite.
Because of Christ is King, they tried to make that like a horrible thing that you couldn't say.
And acting that way is the cause of anti-Semitism.
Yes.
Even though y'all ain't Semites. But anyways, that's all I really wanted to say. Is it's kind of like a report card type of thing. I'm unhappy with the way things are going. I just observed some stuff where it kind of took me back to, I don't really think it's black pill to say that our system is kind of rigged. Everybody knows that. But rigged in a way to where you do have a predetermined handful of people that may end up in office. And the ones that are determined to be viable candidates, they're going to play a certain role.
Yeah.
Just based on where they're at in life, who they are, whatever the case may be, how it times out. I think he's King Zion. If we make it through the next 3 years of something else, I can pretty much guarantee that a candidate of his ilk will not be president of the United States if the vote counts. I can guarantee that.
We shall see, I guess.
A lot of people say, oh, JD's got a great chance, this, that, and the other. I got my apprehensions about JD, but the interesting thing about that is that in order for him to win after this Trump period, unless he does a complete 180, which would be doing what he actually said he would do, unless that happens, and unless they really, really go to war with each other, where JD is shown to be something completely different from Trump and to be actual MAGA.
Right.
MAGA was about no censorship. What do we get? More censorship.
Yeah.
It was about a booming economy. What do we get? The same or a worse economy.
America first.
Yeah.
We get Israel first instead.
Yeah, it's MAGA. And, what do we get? More foreign wars. What do we get? Looking as though we're bullies by kidnapping a guy under a false pretense that everyone knows is untrue.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a country on earth, there's a few that'll say it's true, that actually thinks that Maduro's a drug kingpin.
No.
Not a single one. And also, I wanted to add, you got to really dig to find it. It's not my job to do it because I'm not there, and I'm not part of one of those networks. But there are countless hours showing you all the people protesting on behalf of Maduro, not out of happiness that he's gone.
Right.
No. That's not how it is. Go watch some actual people be interviewed at length, like I have, about whether or not they're happy or unhappy with Maduro being essentially snatched in the middle of the night. Also, we used some advanced drone technology and took out, they say a couple hundred people, but there are some who say a couple thousand.
Well,
So
that's just
middle of the night, wipe out a bunch of people to get a guy who's not a drug. It's like Kaiser Soze. That's what this is. It's usual suspects. What do you mean there's no coke,
Yeah.
And it's like, he's here for people. Yeah, he's here for that guy, but somebody had a pretty cool hypothesis that he's actually deep state. There'll be a trial involved, and he like flips and kind of shows that he's an asset, Maduro. I don't know.
Who knows?
He seemed pretty peaceful about the whole situation.
Yeah.
I mean, he said his piece, but he seemed to kind of know the program.
Pretty much.
But anyways, that's just all I have to say. And I hope that people rip me apart and show me some kind of statistics, convince me of some upcoming, something with some promise. I don't see it right now. And I believe that MAGA's dead.
MAGA's dead for sure. I mean, there is no question about that. It is. It's dead. It's been dead for a while. There's people that are still hanging on for dear life, trying to, whatever, fool themselves.
Ben Shapiro, until Trump gives $1 billion less to Israel, then he'll be out too.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's dead. It's like you said earlier. You're bringing all these people that were, libertarians or past lefties or this or that, independents. All these, same thing with the voters.
Mm-hmm.
Brought all these people.
The common sense group.
They're out. And to tell you the truth, like being what I consider to be an actual conservative, specifically fiscally conservative, but to be America first and to be a Christian, to believe in a fulfillment of theology, I think that this isn't a conservative party that's in power. It's not.
It's not.
Nobody can show me how it is.
It's damn near tyrannical.
What are we conserving?
Sometimes. We're conserving Israel.
I know it always comes back to that, but the reason why, people, is because failing in every other area, and there's one place where you're not only, I guess, by their metric, doing well, and you're also making money out of the situation and gaining power for your family in the situation, but it seems to be the only thing you return to on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything goes back to that.
And the thing is again, it's the communication thing. Like, I understand the guy doesn't have much tact, but hey, if it's really about business in the future, is the importance of that place, say that, clue the American people in.
Yeah.
Just like you should let us know, hey, yeah, ICE ain't doing the greatest. They're hiring people off the street, people that can't pass a piss test.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I guess I'm done ranting, but next up we're doing a thing on Erica Kirk, a deep dive on her life, and it's disturbing. Now that's an asset right there. That's an intelligence asset.
I guess as far as last words, I feel like, oh, what are your last words? That's what it feels like. Like I said earlier, I mean, it's very disappointing, and I feel like a fool, and I think a lot of us feel like fools, and it sucks. It sucks to have to admit that publicly. Trust me, I didn't want to for a minute. I was like, oh my God, man, please stop doing this and that. Please do this soon, because I don't want to have to get on there and say
we're going to tell you.
And it's like, well, here we are, and our whole thing was supposed to be about morals and, yes, America first, and none of that is happening. And being someone with morals and a Christian, you're supposed to hold someone accountable when they're doing evil things or contributing to that, and no matter who it is, whether you love them or you hate them or whoever it is. So, Trump's no different than anybody else. We said that from the beginning, that if he was doing a shitty job, we were going to let it be known that we were unhappy. So, I mean, to say doing a crappy job at this point is like the understatement of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very sad. I went from wanting to wear a shirt or carry a bag with his name on it to not wanting anything to do with it, ripping up a sign from my yard.
Yeah.
And I mean, just everything that Mike already said. I mean, that's the gist of it. And I mean, for me, as somebody, like I just said, with, Christian morals, to see the genocide happening in Gaza right there in front of your face, 4K, you can watch this stuff daily, and it's still happening right now. And to not feel for those people and to not be like, hold the phone. Something is not right here.
Mhm.
Something's wrong. This is not,
At the very least, just let them handle it.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not going to take part in this.
At something, don't act like you're taking part and doing anything
Again,
good for
I
anybody.
go back to the finances every time on that, because I know there's going to be people that are like, that's not what that is, blah, 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 defending themselves, defend the right to exist. Well, if that was the case, you have to extend that to every single group of people on Earth, and you have to give them land from someone else's land.
So we'd all be at war 24/7.
Yeah, so half of your backyard. Yeah, isn't this just like about bringing immigrants in? Yeah. Oh, you let them into your house? Okay, well, if you're all about the Israeli thing, okay, fine. Give up half of your yard to some Puritans.
Yeah, let the
some Wesleyans. I don't know, somebody, some Santorians.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That they're not European enough. But that's beside the point. But yeah, that was kind of like, I guess you could say overall that was my last straw. But it was more just about the way that he was bootlicking that man.
Yeah.
And then also the money.
Yeah, I mean, all of that, it kills me. It kills me to see it. And I mean,
there's one group of people that he caters to, and it's donors that he says love Israel more than the U.S.
and Adelson, blah blah blah.
300 million, I think that was in one shot, like in 1 year. So I don't know. That's just, I don't see him catering to anyone else.
No,
and he's unapologetic about it. It's Israel, Israel, Israel. It's not. I mean, you may throw something in there like keep American people safe. So I took out the Venezuelan leader, but no,
yeah,
really,
gee, thanks.
There's not a whole lot like we're going to cater to this industry of people who haven't been doing well for a while, or this region, or this disaster, or this or that. No, one place, one group of donors, one purpose. That was his role from the beginning. Sadly, we didn't see it. I saw it as too much of a religious thing, and that's not what it's actually about once you learn about it.
Yeah.
I thought he was too non-religious. I really did. And I also thought he'd stand up to people.
I didn't believe things would be perfect. I didn't believe that it would just be some great, change or whatever. But I did believe that we would get what we voted for the most part, for the first time ever. I thought we'd at least get, like 3 out of 5 things or something. And I'd be like, all right, cool. But yeah, we haven't gotten any of that. And, the border, woohoo, yay, that's it. Okay.
Got that, I guess.
Yeah. I just...
That's it.
I don't know. I can't sit here and pretend to be okay with anything that's going on. If you
know stuff, leave it down below. Who knows? Maybe you have some statistic. Maybe he's done something great that he didn't brag about.
Sorry.
Yeah, I guess I should end it on that. Or he's dumb enough to not realize he did something great, so he hasn't bragged about it. Maybe he did something passing that was great, and I don't know. I haven't seen it. So I break it into the main categories. I don't see it.
I don't know.
I mean, some major cities are safer from what he did, but it's like when you pull the National Guard out, is it back to normal?
The tension is so bad, too, that it's like making it worse. So it's just...
It kind of does. Even though, that some of those places are really violent.
Yeah.
And it's an improvement to have the National Guard in there. Like you said, it starts making things more tense. And I don't know. I don't know what that can lead to. I've never seen it before. We'll see.
Yeah.
But if you have any input, especially anything positive, leave it below. I'd love to hear it. I'll dissect it. I hope you're right. But that's really all I have to say about our buddy King Zion there.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, it would take me about 6 hours.
All right.